Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, folks, as if the first two people to comment are even Leeds fans. Brutal. Not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all. Oh, now the dust has settled a little bit. Yeah, I am absolutely gutted with how that game ended. Tommy K, you can have your laugh. Ian Brown, you can have yours too, fella. But yeah, my head's all over the place at the minute. I'm gonna lie, I probably shouldn't have even come on here and done this, but yeah, I was laid in bed and I thought, sod it, I'm gonna come down and do an hour, and then I'll pick Match of the Day up if I can even, if I even want to watch it again. Yeah, Tommy K, you gotta have your laugh, fella. Have your laugh. It is what it is, mate. Whoever you follow, which I think it's Forest. We all have days like this, don't we? Let's be honest. Hey up, my mate. Hey up, Ian. Hope you're doing well. For Candles, this is 100% on the recruitment team and the 49ers. They're all a bunch of clowns. Number 89, I said Fulham 1-0. There was a team to score, but very unlucky. Yeah, well, the way the goal goes in, Brett, it's an unfortunate goal to concede. There's plenty of things I want to say on the game, but the actual goal to lose it that way is very fortunate for Fulham, very unfortunate for us. That ball can come in another 99 times out of 100, and it probably doesn't happen in that way again. It's really unfortunate to lose a game that way. But this is football. These are the margins. This is what it's like in the Premier League. You don't take your chances. There's always a chance. A dose of quality will win you the game, or a bit of misfortune will take the game away from you. On this occasion, it was misfortune. Filmletics, hope you're well, mate. If we don't bring any goal scorers into the team in January, then we are fudged. Yeah, January's a long way off, isn't it? A lot of points to be lost before then. But yeah, it's a concern. I mean, I back Calvin Lewin to score a few goals. I'm gonna lie, I think Calvin Lewin will do well if he gets a service. We're just not setting the team up enough, I don't think, to give us opportunity to win a game at the minute. Brett, agreed. But once again, you have showed you can compete at the level. Yeah, I mean, we have. That's a good sign. We have, apart from the Arsenal game, we've competed in every game, but we also need. It's all right competing. I don't want to be saying, come end of the season, going back down to the Championship, that we competed well though in certain games, and I don't want to wear that. Competing well means nothing if you don't get the points. So the fact we competed well, it means nothing. I'd rather not competed well, but still come out of 3 points. I'm sure every Leeds fan would. So it's gutting. And yeah, we have got to think about the next game and move on. But I am concerned at certain things that Farke's doing. I really am. Yeah, we can moan about the recruitment. We can moan that Farke wanted more and didn't get more. He hasn't been backed in the attacking section of the side, the top end of the pitch. He's missing a couple of players here and there. I can sort of understand that. Obviously, I'm not stupid. We didn't get a 10, we didn't get a right winger. Maybe we need another striker. I understand all that. But the facts are Dan James on bench, Willie Nonto on bench, Large Ramazani in Spain. Do you know what I mean? So we can argue that he ain't got everything he wanted, but he's also hampered himself. He's also hampered himself in decisions he makes. Away from home, I understand the need to be solid. Farke loves a defensive winger. I hate a defensive winger. I think, you've got your 4 defenders. You've got your midfield banker free, which makes you compact and tough to beat. I just want my wingers to be wingers. I want my wingers to be attackers. It's a 4-3-3. The latter, the 3 at the top end of the pitch, they need to be allowed the freedom to go win you a game of football. You've got the fort and you've got the bank of free in midfield. That's what makes you solid. That's what makes us tough to beat, and we've got that in abundance. But you need to put your best 3 attacking options on to try and win the game. I want to see this team go 1-up and then watch us defend, then watch us hold the lead. Because I think we're great off the ball. I think Farke's got us, got us detailed really well in that aspect of the game. Off the ball, I think we're really good. I think we are defensively solid. I think we are quite resolute. I really do. I think the additions we've made, and we spoke a lot about it in pre-season, tall, strong, physicality and all that, that's fine. But we also need to score goals. You can't win a game if you don't score a goal. And I think hanging on to a 0-0 away at Fulham just feels a bit of a dark day for me, that, And I know Fulham and home mugs are they're a good team, good manager. And they're not going to be looking over their shoulder for them. They won't be in a relegation scrap. They're above that. They're a middle at range Premier League side with decent players. And they've got players on bench that can come on and hurt you. And Kevin did when he came on, didn't he? The new signing off that left. But it's a dark day when we go into Fulham. And for me, just playing for a 0-0. It's a dark day, that. In my eyes, anyway. Let's get through it anyway. Get your comments in and we'll go through it together. Ian Brown, our goalie is fucking class. 22-year-old for $11 million. Had a good game watching the highlights. Yeah, Dallo had a really good game. Man at match in a Leeds shirt anyway. I think Evening Post, Graham Smith gave him a 9 out of 10. He was outstanding with Dallo. Absolutely outstanding. It was going to take something, I think, ridiculous to beat him today. I'd usually say a bit of quality, but even quality didn't beat Dallo today. He made some really good saves. And like I say, it took something ridiculous, something totally abnormal to beat him today, which was unfortunate. Hey up, Rune, losing like that, own goal, 4-minute overtime. That's typical for a relegation team. Yeah, we always go on about the London hoodoo. Some people don't like to hear it, but stuff like that happens, and you start thinking, "Can there's something in that?" It's just can't seem to get a win in London. You look at that result there, and this is a problem when you're playing for a draw. We saw it against Everton at home first game of the season, and it went for us that day. I'm not saying we're playing for a draw. We played really well in that opening 45 minutes. We were outstanding first half, that opening day against Everton. But it was 0-0. It was on a knife edge, and we end the game with Harrison and Aronson on wings. If that goes other way and they get the penalty and they score 1-0, Farke's already up against it. I walked away from that win opening day worried, even though we got a win. Looking at that, thinking, wow, opening day Premier League season, and we've ended the game with Harrison and Aronson on wings, Ramazani on bench, Nonto coming off. It was mental to think, and then now you've seen it since then. We haven't won a game since then. You've seen today him going with Aronson, a defensive winger, as opposed to a Nonto, as opposed to a James. James, for me, obviously probably weren't fit. Gets a knock or gets an injury, should I say, while he's on. I've heard that could be up to 3 or 4 weeks out. I don't know how true that is. So that's a shame. But it wouldn't surprise me if he goes with Aronson away at Wolves. And if he goes with Aronson away at Wolves, you're probably going to see the same kind of story, folks. I'm sorry to say. I don't see Aronson starting at Wolves and just tearing it up and winning 3 or 4-0, or even winning 2-0, or even scoring a goal the way we're setting up at minute. That's my concern. Why can't we go to Wolves and put Willie Nonto on right? Willie Nonto tracks back. Willie Nonto puts an effort in. I'd like to see us put our best attacking players on the pitch and give our attackers an opportunity to attack, because that's the role of an attacker. Go score the goals. So when we do concede a late goal, when we do concede a freakish own goal, we've already got one on the scoreboard, so we don't leave empty-handed. That's my frustration, because the boys played really well today. There's no getting away from that. The boys played really, really well today. A few of them, Stack were a little bit below his level. I don't think Aronson were great. He were all right off the ball. Usual stuff with Aronson. But there were a few players. I thought Longstaff were brilliant. I thought Ampadu were brilliant. I thought Rodon, Strauch, Gudmundsson, Bogle, brilliant. I really do. At the top end of the pitch, we were struggling a little bit. I thought Okafor were okay, trying to make things happen, but didn't really happen for him. DCL, good movement again. Maybe should have scored with that header. I think, in my opinion, it'd have been offside. I think he was marginally offside, but we'll never know. But yeah, I thought some of the lads played well. I thought Longstaff were great again. Like I just said, I think that's 2 games in a row now. I'm a big Tanaka fan. Tanaka can't have been fit. I would not imagine he were on the bench. if he's on the bench, is that not deemed fit enough to come on maybe with 10 minutes to go to try and win the game? But this is what I mean. At that point, he ain't trying to win the game. You know, the final 10 minutes, I know you're hanging on, you're away from home. The impetus is on the home side to go get that winner, and you're clinging on as an away side. I just don't like it, though. I just don't like how we were happy for a point quite early on in that game for me. You know, we could talk about the last 10 minutes, it's siege mentality, try and hang on for a point. I sort of get it away from home. But I feel like earlier than that, we sat back and we just invited them on. And I think that's tactics. I think subs, late subs, wrong subs. Again, things we spoke about Farke time and time again, you know. It's a concern because it's all right saying we played well. We played well. Didn't get no points, so. Didn't get any points, so. I'd rather play shite and get points. You know, that's where I'm at today. I'm a bit frustrated. Okafor had a great game, in my opinion. I feel he subbed at wrong time. I don't think he should have come off for Harrison. No, don't think he had a great game, though. I won't lie. I think he was okay. I think he had more of a threat than what Harrison were going to bring. But at that point, he wanted more defensive players, didn't he? He wanted someone who could do both. And Okafor's always going to be more forward thinking. But I don't think it was great. I thought he was okay. I thought he looked lively. But again, his end products weren't really at it. He seems a bit rusty for me. But I agree that he would have been more likely to create something. Hi, Angela. Hope you're all right. Evening, Matty. What a good end to the day. A point would have been so good. Really hoping we can get 3 points next week after this. Still proud of our team. Gonna watch Match at Day 2. Yeah, I'll bang Match at Day on as well. I'll catch up with it once I've finished on here. On the iPlayer. But yeah, I don't get too. I try not to get too high and try not to get too down, right? But it just leaves me worried about Wolves. You know, I'm going next week. Me and Priestley are going to Wolves away. But I'm worried. I'm not gonna lie. I can't watch that game today and then expect. I can't just paint a face like, we'll be right next week. It will be right. It's only Wolves. Because if we do the same things, if Farke does the same things he did today, we'll struggle to win. If he starts Harrison, if he picks Harrison over a Nonto, do you know? If he brings Harrison on for Okafor too early, there's a lot of red flags in there for me. A lot of red flags in there for me. The boys did really well today. I can't lie in terms of their effort. It's just not sticking in that final third. I don't know if it needs to be a change of tactics, a change of formation, probably, potentially. We can argue about the personnel all day that he didn't get the players that he wanted. This is what we've got now. Farke has to make it work. It's his job online. You know, it's his job online. It's our stadium development online. It's our Premier League status online. He has to make it work. He has to find a way. There's enough pieces there to be able to go to Fulham and get a result. There's enough pieces there to be able to go to Wolves and get a result. But can he get him in the right order? You know. LFC Lee. Evening, boys. Gutted today. That was a sucker punch. I thought we was going to nick it. Wasn't even happy with the point. I think Nonto should have played and would have loved to see Ramazan on the left. Tell me about it, mate. Tell me about it. Has he played today for Valencia? How's he got on? But yeah, I agree. Hiya, Sid. Good evening, Matty. We cannot let the window be an excuse for Farke sort of coming. Yeah, well, that's where I am. That's where I am with it. He's got an out now for some people. He'll always have an out. The 49ers' fault. They can't give him this, they can't give him that. You can't give him an out for the rest of the season. Or for however long as you can't do that. You can't give that as an excuse. He's got players. He's got attacking flair players and decides not to use them. You know what I mean? I genuinely feel at this point you could have a prime Lionel Messi. He'd have probably put him on bench for this game because he doesn't do defensive stuff. Do you know? That's where I'm at with this. Not everybody has to go that way. You know, sometimes you've got to go forward. Can't win a game if you don't score a goal. You can't. They say defence wins your titles. Well, if we're not careful, defence might get us relegated too. If Wolves don't get something against you next week, I reckon they are. Well, you could argue whoever loses that game looks like they'll be in trouble, won't they? But I'll back them to go there and win. Say we've played well in every game bar Arsenal, really. But all of a sudden, the points to game ratio starts going down. So it's 4 points in 4 games, a point a game. That's what people say you need to stay up. That'd be 36 points over the course of the season. I ain't too sure that'll be enough this season. Maybe, it may not be. But all of a sudden, if that becomes 4 points in 5 games, and then you've got Bournemouth at home and Tottenham at home, 2 difficult games. It's a difficult run if we don't get Wolves right. The next 2 after that really is. Do you think maybe change formation and go 2 up top? Potentially, Brett. Potentially. Yeah, it's something I've thought about. Maybe do a 5-3-2, 5-6, 5-3-2, something like that. I've even thought of that, playing 3 centre halves, playing with full backs. Yeah, I think it needs something. I really do. 4-4-2, big man, little man. How about that, Brett? Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not too sure on answers. I just feel like what's got happening at the minute isn't working. There's been a lot of talk of the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3. We're not being too different, really. But whatever's happening, it's way off what we had last season. It's way off what we had last season. When you look at the way the boys attacked, how fluid we were in transition, how the tempo, quick on the ball, the transitions were really good. Plenty of overlaps and underlaps, and it very much was attack. And I understand we have best players, but Farke let the handbrake off at times last season, and the goals came. And I suppose one of those things where it's like he's trying not to be too open, so I understand that. But then we're not scoring either, so you short in defence up, but you're losing attack. You need to try and find that balance, and maybe that'll come. Maybe that'll come in weeks and months as we get into the season. At the minute, it's struggling to get that sort of balance. We saw against Arsenal, we give it a go and we got spanked, but we don't play Arsenal every week, and we weren't playing Arsenal today. So why couldn't we just gone for it a little bit more? Nonto for me is probably our most sort of flair player, someone who can create some out of Nonto when he's on it. Yeah, he's had a lot of games where he's not been quite at it at championship level and stuff. I think we've seen a decent Nonto in pre-season. I think he's looked well in these first few games this season. And Nonto does track back. Nonto's an hard worker. Why couldn't he have played up right? That bugged me. I didn't mind seeing DCL start knock off or start. I thought the lineup was pretty good. I had a pick Strauch over BO. So the lineup I was happy with, but Aronson in there I wasn't. And I've seen a few people for staff saying he did all right, and he did what Aronson does. But I don't think if you put Nonto in there, we leak 3 goals in for staff. That don't happen either. But it gives you opportunity to go score a goal. The formation needs to change. It's not getting us the points, and subs need to happen earlier. Sucks for Dan James. Biol needs some games. Yeah, I mean, Biol again though. Defensively they look well. I kind of think Biol's going to come in when Strauch has a stinker, but I don't know when the next stinker's going to come for Strauch, to be honest. Imagine don't look sound. I mean, they didn't play bad today, did they? Although losing side, conceded a goal, but again, it wasn't the defender's fault. So I thought Strauch did well today. So again, for me, I wouldn't take him out for Biol yet. He's going to have to wait. He's going to have to buy his time. Hey up, Nige. Evening, Matt. I watched 2 Premier League matches tonight. We're way behind. They had so much pace and attacking moves. It's a worry how we turn it around. Yeah, well, it is, mate. I think to survive in this division, we're going to have to find that balance I was just talking about. We're going to have to find a way of being fairly solid at the back, but also giving us an opportunity to win game. Like at the minute, we look hard to break down. We do. We look really, really good defensively. The midfield is as good as we all hoped it would be for me. I think Longstaff and Stack are it. I mean, Stack were off it today, but Longstaff and Stack, I think, are great signings. If you've got Tanaka now as a bench option, if that's the way it's going to go, I think Tanaka's a bit more forward thinking than Longstaff. It would nice to see Longstaff get a bit further forward and have a shot today, which wasn't a bad strike with the bar. But I do think Tanaka's more of a creative player in that midfield rather than Longstaff. But if we're going to go with Longstaff going forward, which I think we will, especially away from home, it's a decent free. Ampadu's solid as a rock. I love Ampadu in there. It's a great midfield. It's a decent defence. But that attack, and I know we'll talk about, maybe not having the quality up there, but we're not giving ourselves the best opportunity by who he selects either for me. We're really not. and the subs and stuff up there. You know, he's really hampering us. If we don't think we've got creative players, and you know, you're making it worse by the creative players you have got, because we have got, you're not playing them. But then he'll speak, or he won't now, but he's spoken about, you know, the lack of sort of quality in those areas while the window was still open. But then he ain't playing the ones he's already got, you know. So there's probably a reason why they didn't go give him more players, because probably thinking, well, what's the point? He's not going to play him. You know, it's quite obvious. Aronson and Harrison are now Farke's boys, really. They're his boys, I'd say. You know, he's going to have to start Okafor, I would imagine. Okafor will be the starting left winger, but Harrison's definitely coming in there for big minutes this season. Aronson away from home. Are we now saying he starts over James and Nonso, want right? Away from home, potentially. That's wild, that. That's wild. But it is what it is. Daniel, hey up, mate. Who says we don't go 1-0 down if Nonto starts over Aronson? Hindsight is a beautiful thing, but let's not pretend Nonto puts as much work in on. Daniel, he doesn't have to put as much work in as Aronson off the ball, because he does so much more with the ball, mate. Do you know what I mean? That's the balance. So maybe he's not as good off the ball, but he's way better on the ball and not that bad off the ball too. So for me, that's the difference. That's the difference right there. So Nonto 100% tracks back, 100% gets stuck in defensively, does all the hard yards that Farke wants him to do, and gives you miles more output going forward than what Brendan Aronson would ever do. So Nonto should always start every day at week and twice on a Sunday over Brendan Aronson, all the time. No matter who we play, he should always start, if fit, over Brendan Aronson. And it's not even hindsight. I was saying this before the game when I saw the lineup. I can only remember DCL winning one battle with a defender and getting the knockdown to one of our players. Longstaff hit the bar. I think Metcher would have won a lot more of those long. Maybe. I think. I personally think DCL is the best striker we've got at the club now. I think he's got to obviously play himself into some sort of match sharpness, mate. I do agree. He doesn't look great at the minute, but he's feeding off scraps. Every kind of like time a ball goes up to him, if it doesn't stick, it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb, because you know he isn't getting much of the ball, and obviously we're starved of that sort of like attacking threat. So every time the ball goes up there, he's going to get scrutinised for every single ball, and it's tough, you know, playing against two physical defenders there, Dane Anderson and what's his face? It's Bassey. That's the one, Bassey. Two absolute physical monsters at the back, and yeah, they dealt with him quite well. But yeah, I've got to back him to come through it, because for me, he's the best option up there. I'm a big Metcher fan. I think Pirro's definitely third choice going forward. But yeah, I get that, mate. I get that. Hey up, Chris. Man, he's fuming. I am fuming, mate. Fuming. It's like he's removed all the spark from the team. Yeah, he has. There's no spark. There's no maverick, or there's no one allowed to be a maverick in this side. DCL have to do better with that free header. Yeah, you know, he did, but I actually think it was offside. I actually think it was just slightly offside, but maybe it wouldn't have counted, maybe it would. But yeah, straight at target, straight at the goalkeeper, sorry. Either side, it's in the back of the net, but yeah, hopefully it'll come. Evening, pretty depressing day. Hey up, Ellie, yeah, it is. And not like, unlike the Championship, you haven't got a game on Tuesday. Quick turnaround. We've got to wait till next weekend, don't we? Okafor doesn't look an upgrade. Nigel, I don't think so. I think physically he looks the part. Big, strong winger. His stature doesn't look like a winger, does it? You know, Ramazani's low centre of gravity, shorter guy. Okafor looks really big, strapping lad, physical player. Use his body maybe a little bit better, a little bit stronger than Ramazani, but he just looks off it at the minute. But again, 4 games last season, I think, for Napoli, or you know, since he went to Napoli, he hasn't played much football. He's a talented guy, yes. Is he better than Ramazani? We'll have to see, won't we? He needs to be, Nige. He needs to be. Otherwise, what a ridiculous decision that was. You know, this club's made some ridiculous decisions in recent years, haven't they? It wasn't long ago we signed bloody JKA for bloody however many millions, and he played 2 minutes. So these decisions do happen, but he needs to be better than Ramazani, and he needs to be a lot better than Ramazani for that deal to be worth it. You know, you're signing someone for 17 million quid and you let Ramazani go out on loan. If he's not a lot better than Ramazani, what ridiculous decision that was, when we've got other areas at pitch what we needed to fill. That if Ramazani is a better option, he stays, and you've got 17 million to play with to go get a striker, to go get a 10, to go get a right winger. So he needs to be better, mate. But it's still early days. It's still early days. Michael, hi, Matty and all. We seem to have no cutting edge. No, we don't. We've known that. We've known that for the last month or so now, haven't we? It's up to Farke to find cutting edge out of that side. He's got to. I haven't got a choice. Seems like there is no character in the team. He wants robots with no charisma. Yeah, that's how I feel like. And you know that will get you results from time to time. But like I say, I always go on about German efficiency with Farke. It's all got to be, you know, a certain way. They've all got to tick a certain box that sort of he puts you in. And I do believe he don't like that sort of flair and exciting player, that maverick. I just don't think he likes it. We've seen, you know, numerous players in his career that have that. You know, Todd Cantwell, Buendia, he's had fallouts with them before at Norwich. The Ramazani situation at our place, you know, Jorginho Rutter, you know, he's had words with him about the flamboyance on the pitch and certain stuff. And I do think he doesn't particularly like that sort of player. But that's the sort of player we need right now. We need someone who can create some art. No, you know, having strong, strapping lads who can put a shift in, for me, isn't it? It's good to a point, but that can't be all you have. That can't be all this team is. Hard to beat, physical. That ain't good enough. You need some cutting edge. You need someone who can take the game to the opponent and make something happen out of nothing. You can't just rely on being physically strong and resolute and tough to break down. Tough to break down don't get you goals. And if we draw every game 0-0 till the end of the season, I'm telling you what, we'll go down, in my opinion. We'll go down. A point a game, I don't think it's enough. People say it is. If it is, it's only just enough. We need to put ourselves in a position where we can win more games than I think than the position we're currently in. We got lucky on opening day against Everton. We got lucky. And I think if you're truthful to yourself, you can say that. Great performance for staff. We played well against Newcastle too. We've played well in games, but ultimately playing well and coming away with no points don't keep you up. And that's how I feel today. Feel the lads did really well today. I thought Carl Darlow were outstanding today. Massive worry about Perry. You know, there's an argument that what we've seen from Perry so far wasn't as good as what we saw from Darlow today. And I know it's one game, and Darlow, you know, we saw what happened at Wednesday, etc. But I hope Perry comes good. I think Perry's a decent keeper, obviously. We all hope he's as good as what we thought when we signed him. But there's an argument that Darlow today, that was the best goalkeeper performance we've seen this season. That was the best goalkeeping performance we've probably seen in a couple of seasons, to be honest. That was brilliant from Darlow today. He was outstanding. He distributed the ball well. His shot stopping were absolutely class today. The free kick as well from Wilson, that when he lined that up, I thought, well, this is destined to go in. Great save there. Great save from Smith Rowe. Great save from Kevin. Can't do naught with it with a goal he does concede. He was outstanding with Darlow. Probably man at match. Probably best player on pitch, let alone Leeds. Brett, the Wolves game is looking massive now. We need at least 4 points of the next 3 games to keep the ship sailing. Yeah, you know what it is? It's hard to pinpoint how many points I think we need, because obviously after these next 3, Brett, there's still shitloads of games left, so still opportunity to win points. But what I say is not what Leeds need, what Farke needs. Like, people say it's too early, and I don't want Farke gone. I don't. I want Farke to stay. I want Farke to not even prove me wrong, because I think Farke can do a job at this level. I think he can. I think Farke's capable of being a Premier League manager of a side like Leeds United, who's vying for anywhere between 15th and 17th. I think he's good enough for that. And then maybe if you give him a few more plays in summer and we stay up and you go again, potentially, I think he's a ceiling to what he can achieve at this level because of his stubbornness and the area of his game that I do think he's lacking in. But I think he's good enough for Leeds United where we are right now, and I think he can keep us in division. But I do think lose at Wolves, or even a 0-0 draw at Wolves, but if we don't score again from open play, and it's looking very familiar to this game, I don't think he'll have long left. I could see by Tottenham him not being in no more, and that sounds wild to some. That'd only be 7 games in. And I probably would say that's wild too. I'd say I agree with it. But I think if we don't get 3 points at Wolves and then we don't get 3 points against Bournemouth, I think it could be enough. And that could be 2 draws. But I reckon it could be enough for him to get the boot. And that's a scary thought. I didn't want to be even having these thoughts at this point of the season. 4 games, it sounds ridiculous, but you've seen what's happened at Forest. You see what happened, all over in world football. These things happen. A lot more crazier things that happen than that. But I just hope the reliance on Aronson and Harrison can just get parked a little bit, especially in the home games to come. You've got Wolves away. Maybe he plays Aronson again and goes for that whole defensive solidarity again. But Bournemouth and Tottenham at home, for me, he'll look at them 2 sides and go, the top sides, really, Bournemouth and Spurs. Really attack-minded, really good football, score plenty of goals both sides. I can see him, lining up with an away sort of performance at home, and that will anger me. Because when you're at home, you should take the game to the opponent. But I think there'll be games he'll look at the opposition and go, we can't play like that. So I think there'll be a lot of times we play at home and we play like we're away. So apart from maybe the cluster of 3 or 4 sides we probably think we might beat, your Sunderlands, your Burnleys, your Brentfords, your Wolves, they're probably the 4 we look at and go, wow, we can beat them home and away. Potentially, they're probably the games we look at and go, they need to be wins them. Apart from them, maybe even all the rest of the home games, we're set up like an away side. A little bit like we did against Newcastle to a degree. I never got the impression we were massively trying to win that game either. But people say you win your own games and draw your away games. Well, we haven't won both home games, believe it or not. And guess what? We've lost both away games. So 4 points from 4, it isn't the end of the world. It's still not a bad start. But Wolves is massive for Farke. Wolves is bigger for Farke than it is for Leeds United, for me. It's huge, huge. LA Longstaff's looking a great signing, isn't he? He's looking a great signing. He really is. He really is. I'm really happy with how Longstaff's looking. The Stone Priest, hey up, mate. Farke said he picked Brendan because he goes forward and back, so he's first choice above Willie. Clown. Yeah, man, can't disagree. Obviously, us as promoted clubs should not be beating the likes of Fulham in reality, but a point is a bare minimum. I should. Yeah, Ian. So, based on what that we're newly promoted, so who should we be beating? Should Leeds only be beating Burnley and yourself? Is that the only teams we should be seeing? Because I get Fulham are decent. They're not shit. They've got a good manager. But I looked at the team, and it's not unachievable to beat that team today. It's not. It's not unachievable to beat that team. I looked at them, some decent plays in there. No will beat us by any stretch. They're a mid-table side. But if, as a newly promoted side, if we aren't going to beat or believe we can beat the likes of a Fulham, a Brighton, a Brentford, a Palace, then we're going back down, aren't we? I can't have it where every away game is a game you shouldn't win because it's away from home. Be funny, do you hear it on TV? It was like a chuffing home game. No atmosphere from Fulham end at all until they scored. But yeah, I know it's not a definite. There's no guarantee. Away from home's tough, of course it is. But they were there for taking today, mate. They were there for taking. Michael got, is it a case that the new squad aren't gelling together as a team? I don't think it is, mate. I think we're playing really well. I think we're playing good football. I think the passing's well. I think they've gelled really well. I look at Ampadu, Stack and Longstaff. I feel like they've been playing together a lot longer than they have. I just feel like we're sitting a bit deeper than I'd like us to be. And I feel like when we do get the ball forward, the front three aren't close enough. They're not close enough together. You've got DCL totally isolated, trying to win the ball against two physical centre halves. There's no one getting close enough to DCL because we're not playing with a 10. It's very stretched. The wide men are really wide. He's in middle. I just feel like from the midfield to the front three, there's too much of a gap there. They need to try and get closer. Maybe switching it to a 4-2-3 wouldn't work. Maybe they turn around Stack and play him in that 10 role, because I think Stack could play in 10 role. But keep the side the same, but play one of those 3 midfielders a bit higher up. Get someone closer to DCL. Because for me, it's just not working at the minute. But I'm no manager. I don't know the answers. I'm just going to come in and moan about it. Wrong signings, potentially, Michael, but it's still early days. Still early days. I just know from beating Everton, it's what you got to look at. From beating Everton, scraping through against Everton, but who cares? It would have win. Shite in cup. Who cares? It's cup. Shite against Arsenal. Who cares? Everyone gets beat against Arsenal. Get a decent point against Newcastle. Take that. And then losing 96 minutes today. There's been quite a lot of low points on the rail this season so far, and it's only 5 games in. Christopher Spoffer Chapel, thanks a lot, mate. Another 20 memberships given by Christopher. He is on it. Thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. Just caught up with the group chat, says Boss Nas. Yeah. Please smash a like on the video if you don't mind, and please subscribe if you are new here. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, Boss Nas, I wasn't too sure whether I'm coming on or not tonight, mate, but I decided to come on anyway. Top Banana, evening all Leeds at we. I hope it'll be well. Smash them likes, please. Yeah, please do. Muchly appreciated. Skip, defensively, we was good and limited Fulham to very little. But yet again, our lack of creativity, toothless up top is worrying. Yeah, of course it is. And I feel like we have to offset them against each other, don't we? So it's all right being defensively solid. That's sound. But maybe we've got to give up a little bit of that just to give us a chance to fucking score, you know? Like, I understand we may leak a goal then, but we also need to score to win a game. So there's going to have to be some sort of change there in Farke's ideology, because you can't just try and draw every game 0-0, which I would say I felt that after half-time against Everton. I felt like that's what we were going for. Felt like that, obviously, against Newcastle as well. Arsenal were a write-off, really. And then you look at this today, I feel like 3 out of 4 Prem games, we've sort of just been hoping for a draw. In my opinion, 2 of them games were at home. But I sort of get it in those games. But, yeah, just needs to be a shift, I think, in mentality that we can go to Fulham and get a win. We can go to Fulham and score a goal. The lack of creativity has been a thing with the signings, and now it's creeped into the side. Now we're 4 games now without a goal from open play. And that's just, that'll be in DCL's mind, in Farke's mind, in attacking players' mind. That lot, it'll be feeding into players. That 100%. That'll be on pitch. It's in stadium. It's in stands. We're all talking about it. Where's his goals coming from? Sky are talking about it. The pundits are talking about it. We're talking about it on Match It Day tonight. It's a thing, and we need to get that monkey off his back. If we don't do it against Wolves, massive pressure on Farke. Massive. He might just say, I think he does, Christopher. I think he sets us up for a draw at Wolves and just thinks if we play like that as we did today, maybe against Wolves, we'll get something, because Wolves aren't as good as Fulham. And there's something in that. Maybe it works against Wolves. Maybe it does, but it's a risk. It's so risky to set up for a 0-0. So risky, because if you get it wrong, you lose the game and you look shite losing it too. Like, the amount of people a day that wasn't one for the neutrals. It's, poor game of football. Because neither side really, at one point, looked like they wanted to win it. And then Fulham stepped it up like they should be in the home team. And they get the win. Farke will be gone in December after the Liverpool game, I reckon. Hopefully Nuno is still available then. Well, I remember when Jesse Marsh were going to go, and then the Liverpool game saved him, so you never know. But I don't want him to go. I want him to do well. I want him to... I'm massive on... I'm not Sentiment FC, but I'm massive on if they're good enough. I quite like the idea of, being rewarded, and he got rewarded. He's being kept on. I'd love him, after getting us promoted, having 2 mint years, I'd love him to prove all the media wrong, all the doubters wrong, that he can actually be a Premier League manager at Leeds United. And this is best gig he'll ever have. Let's not make no bones about it. And I hope he can do it. But I have my reservations. Of course I do. I would 100% be lying to myself if I didn't have my reservations about him. Andy Rowe, Leeds had it in them to win today, but you can't afford to miss many. No, I think we did. I think they were there for taking today. It's a massive. We dropped ball there tonight for me. Tickle those lights for our might. Cheers, Top Banana. If we get relegated, Matt will be doing Rhino streams. As you said, Darlow pulled a few. I think he made some really good saves. I think Darlow was shining light today, to be fair. And sort of ease my worries about Perry not being fit for obviously Wolves game as well, and we'll see beyond that. AR, is it possible that Victor Pereira, Unai Emery, Graham Potter, Daniel Farke, and Scott Parker may encounter challenges in their roles as head coach for the clubs and could potentially face dismissal? Maybe. I mean, they're all struggling. Anything can happen in football, mate. Anything can happen. I just hope it's not our manager that ends up getting sacked. But yeah, the 49ers, I think, will be ruthless if they need to be. I think Biddo was injured. Yeah, I think so, mate. We heard through a week, didn't we, at press conference, he had a knock, him and Metcher, but Metcher were obviously deemed fit enough to get half an hour. It's okay playing well, but who scored in one goal? And that was a pen loose to Wolves. Farke should be replaced. I'm not saying should be. Could be. I won't lie, could be. I'll have to see. Rama plays tomorrow against Barca. If he goes and tears it up, honestly, can you imagine? 4-2-4. Imagine. It'd be nice, mate, to see a bit more attacking impetus, but it's just not Farke's game. I think Metched is best playing with a striker. He could be a good... Yeah, I think so. I think he'd be great in a two. It's just, again, he ain't going to play over two, is it? It's just not what we know. It's just not what we see him do. I believe Burnley, Leeds and Wolves could potentially face relegation. We're going to be in the fight, AR. Those three names will be in the mix with maybe, another 3 or 4 on top of that. He's negative manager for me. Yeah. Thing is, I don't want this to turn into a Farke bashing, although it sounds like a Farke bashing as I'm saying it. But I don't know what more I can say. I can't just put it down to the lads played well and were really unlucky. Because that is a thing. The goal was really unlucky. But there were 94 minutes before that goal where we could have done more to win the game. And I thought the players played well. So I'm going to look at the manager and go, how did you set us up? What was the lineup like? Did you do everything in your power in game? Subs at the right time? Subs, right personnel to win us that game? And I don't think he did. So some of it is on the manager and some of it is on horrendous luck. Goodmanson had a banging game. I thought he were brilliant. I think Goodmanson's a cracking signing. And that's a horrendous way to lose a game. And he'll be feeling it today. But like I said, 99 more times out of 100, that one don't go in. But yeah, I thought he played well. I feel Farke is scared of the Premier League after the last time here. Yeah, risk averse with his tactics. Nige, bang on, mate, bang on. You can't let fear hold you back in anything in life. And I honestly think he's coaching, his managing with fear, based on his Norwich days, based on fear for his job. The recruitment has been heavily based on let's be solid. But that is not enough to stay in the division for me. You need some creative flair, and we do still have some at that club. We still have creative players in our club. Play our best creative players in those areas, Farke, please. And back the people who are supposed to be defenders, deem them good enough to do their job and let the attacking players attack. That's sort of where I am on this. You never know with Farke, and Nonto might have been carrying a slight knock. I don't think he is, mate. We'd have heard about that impressor for me. He opened up on Piddo and Metcher. I don't think he was, in my opinion. What a day tomorrow. Southampton derby, Liverpool, Manchester derby. Yeah, true. He was today, Nige, but, for me, it's been pick up bunch out of all the signings. You can't play well every game. Obviously, he wasn't the reason we lost today. Maybe him being a bit off it is the reason we didn't create as much. He was number two, only in the top creative chances in the division before today. So maybe if he'd have been on it a bit better, he'd have created more. Maybe we'd have got a goal. Who knows? But I don't think he was terrible. He just weren't at his level because his level's so high. I'm a deaf sniper. I don't think the formation is a problem. Poor signing in the front line is the problem. In the front line, do you mean DCL? Because for me, I'm going to say he's not getting the service. You might come back and say, well, there was that header. Yeah, but I don't think he's getting multiple chances to bury him as of yet. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree. We haven't signed. It doesn't appear that we've signed enough quality in those top areas. There is a few players maybe that you may deem aren't good enough, but I'll back them to come good. I just want the sort of like the handbrake to be taken off and let the players cook. It's not the first game stacking. I don't know. Not producer goods. I think he's played well most weeks. I mean, what we're talking, he's played 5 games, a few in pre-season. I don't think he's played bad in many, to be fair, if any, other than today. Of course you do. Great point, Chris. We don't look too dangerous. We don't look too dangerous on attack. We have the lowest XG in the league, but we take our chances, unlike some. Nice little dig there, mate. Matthew, still think loaning Ramazani was a mistake. Could see him making a difference today. Honestly, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'll probably lose subscribers over Ramazani this season, because unless I'm way off on how good Ramazani is, and he's absolutely turgid in Spain, then I fully expect him to come back to haunt us this season in terms of him getting good output out there and us struggling for creativity over here. So if that's the case, it's another ridiculous decision. But part of me wants to be wrong on that front, but the other part of me wants me to be right, because Ramazani is still a Leeds United player come the end of the season. So hopefully he does well there and he can come back. But it will be a shame that we haven't got him this season, but it's just something we've got to get over. But what I'll say is, as the games are going by, more and more people are commenting now in my comment section about Ramazani. I've always said it, and sometimes on some streams you only want to say it, even though other people think it, but not many comments about it. Now I'm getting comment after comment after comment, because it's looking more and more evident that we're lacking it. But what I will say, Matthew, is it wouldn't matter if Ramazani was still at Leeds, because he wouldn't be playing today, would he? He wouldn't have started. He'd have still played Okafor. He'd have still brought on Harrison over him, and Ramazani would have been rocking bench for the full 90 today. But 100% he'd have made a difference, and there'll be multiple times you'll say that this season. We'll probably say it next weekend against Wolves as well. And I just want to caveat it. I think we stay up. I think Farke's the man to keep us up, and I back DCL to get the goals. That's the 3 things there. But right now, based on losing the way we've lost today, I can't be happy about that. So totally transparent. I still believe, but right now I feel a bit shit. But the lads did okay, but okay ain't good enough because we got no points. That's how I am. I sometimes think Daniel Farke judges his plays differently to how the majority of fans sees it. Well, yeah, 100%. He's got a different view to how we see it. Hey up, Darren. Hope you well, buddy. Daniel, the Centurion Farke. Matty, last season stats, Aronson 11, none or 8 goal involvements. I don't even need to look at the stats, Daniel, just to say, look at the minutes. I bet Aronson's minutes are a lot more than Nonto's minutes. A lot more than Nonto's minutes. That'll be a fact. That'll be a fact. If you're telling me that Aronson's a better attacker than Nonto, then I can't help you, mate. I can't help you. Yeah. You're way off with that one. Minutes is what I'll say. Aronson playing in the 10 in a side that got 100 points. I'd get 11 G&A in that side. He's playing in the 10 of a side, the most attacking side in the league. One of the best championship sides that there's ever been with 100 points. If Aronson hasn't got 11, there's something wrong, isn't there, mate? But guaranteed minutes will be miles apart. Miles apart, buddy. Richard, hey up, Matty. Good evening. Good evening, mate. David Gray, no creativity up front. I think we are planning on drawing our way through the season with an odd win if we do get one. Yeah, but the problem with that is there'll be the odd loss. Probably more losses than odd ones, won't there? You can't keep it 0-0 as a newly promoted side over the course of the season and expect to get rubber green more often than not. It's not going to happen. It's going to go the other way. We've seen that today. Look how freakish that goal was. And we played really well and we still come out with nothing. Sometimes we have to just go take care of our business, go get that goal, go try and make something happen. You can't just sit back and wait for it to happen. Okafor not fit, huffing and puffing in the 60th minute. Yeah, I think you can see that. I've got a feeling he's one of those players who can't play 90. At the minute, that's the case. Maybe he can play through that, but a lot of injuries, a lot of fitness worries on Okafor. But like I said earlier, with the money we've spent on him for the player we'll let go, he needs to be good. He really needs to be good. We are definitely missing a marquee type player. Matt Letizia would be ideal. I'd have him even now in his 60s or 70s. Should have taken off a midfield and pushed Okafor into the 10. Again, he wants to play on left. He doesn't see himself as a central player. Farke won't see him as that either. The whole wingers in the 10. Matthew, I said it all last season. Solomon and Onto Ramazani could have played in 10. I got called crazy. I'm not going to go down that road again, pal. But yeah, if you're a good, talented player, you can probably play 10 meters to the right guy. Let's be honest. So Darlow better than Perry, Stroud better than Beal, Tanaka better than Stack. Amazing business there. Yeah, I like that bit. What you saying, Matty? Granite jawed giants with no creativity can't cut it in the Prem long. Yeah, pretty much. They can cut it in the Prem to a degree, to a level, but is it good enough to keep you up? Stack is better than Tanaka. I will say Stack is better than Tanaka. I think Stack is levels. I really do. He just weren't at it today, but he weren't horrible. Jack Harrison, Brendan Aronson should not be playing. Yeah, I agree. I don't mind them playing. I just think they shouldn't be starting games, Ellie, what do you think a new manager will do? If I'm honest, Ellie, I don't want a new manager. But a new manager, you can have a new manager bounce, new ideas, a different philosophy, better at motivating players. There's loads of reasons why a new manager can work. But we don't need a new manager yet, Ellie. I don't think we need a manager yet. I just think Farke's making mistakes now that will at some point get him sacked. Hopefully, it's many years from now. But yeah, what will a new manager bring? Depends who it is. If you're bringing someone shy, then there's no point doing it. If you're bringing someone good. If you ask me what Nuno would bring, you're bringing Nuno now. I think he'd be better than Farke. I think Nuno's a better manager than Farke, but do I want Nuno to come in right now? No, I don't. I don't want a manager change. But there's loads of reasons why a new manager change, depending who it is, would be better than Farke. But I don't live in that world just yet. When I feel that way, I'll come on here and I'll say it. But I don't want to be sacking. I don't want to be impressed for Leeds sacking the manager and everyone laughing, everyone goading us because Leeds are falling apart again. I don't want that. I want a steady ship where from top to bottom, from top to fans, we're as close as you can get, which it's fractious at times, but it's gonna be. It's an emotional roller coaster. But yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to be in media for sacking a manager. We've had that too many times. But we have to call it out. I can't come on here and go, unlucky today. Nah, 10-second stream and go off. We've just got to discuss it, haven't we? And the discussion points are Farke, I think, has made a few decisions today that has hampered us. He hasn't lost us the game, but he did enough to make sure we didn't win it either, which left us culpable for the sucker punch to lose the game. There are plenty of positives to take from today. Despite losing, I feel we look professional and composed in that midfield. We just need to take more chances. Was disappointed, but we go. Yeah, Ryan, 100%. 100%. I agree with that. We go again, we're going to Wolves. I just hope he doesn't set up the same way because Wolves, Ryan, as of today, but even more so at Wolves, we can go win that game. So let's put his best side out there, which some people say that was his best side, or it was close to our best side. I think Brendan Aronson, I don't know what more I would have changed, if I'm honest. So maybe I'm moaning at him for wrong reasons, but I would say Brendan Aronson in there puts a negative sort of feel and aura around that team in that game, thinking, yeah, he's setting up here for a 0-0, he's setting up here not to get beat. Let's just set up with a team to go try and score the first goal, and then you can bring your Brendan Aronsons on, then you can bring your Harrisons on. That's where I see them being valuable members of the squad. Harrison and Aronson coming on, after 65 minutes, if you won up, I think they're great options then. It totally flips from where I am now, thinking I don't want them to be starting, trying to win a game. Because for me, if they're starting, they're not trying to win a game. Let's try and get the goal, try and get a foothold in the game. The professional part and composed part, I agree with. We were. But let's try and get a goal, and then let's absorb pressure. Let's be a professional and see the result out. But I'd like us to go get the goal first. I don't think being a little bit more adventurous against a Fulham means we concede 3. I don't. I think we're good enough to still give a little bit more or allow a little bit more freedom up front and on the wide areas. Maybe let one of the 3 push up a little bit more and just try and get that goal. I don't think it's going to make us so much more weaker defensively. I read somewhere the 49ers have a contingency for another manager. I don't know why that'd be out there publicly, Andy, but they will have anyway. They will have anyway. Jam just makes a whole Ramazan decision to let him go to Valencia. Very questionable now. Well, Jam, I've questioned it from day he went, mate. I knew it were coming. You could just sense it. Him not coming on that opening day against Everton, I knew we were going. But yeah, it's something that hopefully won't bite us on the arse, but at the minute appears to be nibbling at us arse every week. Hey, all Leeds fans, hey up, Elmy. Hope you're well. Smash them likes. It's free, man. Yeah, cheers, Christopher. Yeah, please smash a like. Please subscribe if you're new here. Really appreciate it. It doesn't help to gamble on strikers that haven't shown decent, consistent form. No, but yeah, well, no, I can't say. I do think he'll come good. Elmer, I'm tired of this clueless clown Farke playing Aronson as winger. 77 minutes ahead, Nonto and on top of Lewin and Metcher are not good for keeping up Leeds in the Premier League. Wow, you went in then, Elmer. You went in. Yeah, man. Yeah, we haven't, mate. We haven't, and we need that to change quick, don't we? We need to change quick. Not our fourth choice now. Fall out with Farke. Strange when we are creating almost nothing offensively. Yeah, it's a mad one. I've seen someone on Joe's stream earlier say he's Nonto the new Ramazani. I don't think that's the case. I think I do think he likes Nonto. It wouldn't surprise me. The 2 home games, Bournemouth and Spurs, if you saw Nonto start both of them. I think Nonto's got a great chemistry with Bogle. I think they work great with each other. I just think away from home, you're going to see this sort of setup very often. I'd be surprised if any game this season away from home you see a score, a couple of goals in it. It's going to be, can we get a goal? If we score 2 goals away from home this season, by the looks of it, it'd be a fucking miracle. I don't think that's what he's aiming for. But I tell you what, if he's going to play this way away from home, he needs to make sure he wins his own games. He really does, or maintain that, win draw. He really needs to, because it's going to be tough. Bournemouth and Spurs at home. How many points are we getting from them two? 1, 3, 6, really? It's tough, isn't it? Not a good manager will come in until can sign players. Leeds need 2 strikers and a good manager. Mr. Red. Stubborn Farke. Elmy, you're not a Farke fan at all, are you? I think Farke gets going to Norwich ASAP. Let's call a spade a spade. He can't cut it at this level, Mr. White. Oof, wow. Proper going in on him today, everybody. Folks here, 1 goal in our first 4 games is the worst in our history. We're in. Yeah, well, I didn't know that, folks. I didn't know it was worst in his history. Thanks for poor reading that, though, doesn't it? He's got a lot of records as Farke. That's not one he'll want to keep. I hope not Pierre, your second, third person that I've seen say that today. I would argue he isn't because he actually came on, but then again, he wouldn't have come on if James were injured today. But I don't get the Nonto decision because Nonto does track back. Nonto's a hard worker. So, yeah, I don't get it. The fact that he wasn't going to bring on one of your most creative players when, you haven't scored in a game. And people have told me, my mate Sean Wilco White said to me, yeah, but last 20 minutes, if anything, you bring a centre half on to see game out at 0-0. You don't bring on an attacking player to go try and get a goal because you could concede. And I just see game differently then because maybe that's the case and I understand that, but that's fucking boring, isn't it? But that's just football these days, isn't it? That's boring to me. It's 0-0, but away from home, who cares? You're on a patch of grass, same size as it is whether you're at home or away. Put an attacking player on, try and get a goal. Because guess what? If you don't, they'll fucking get one. And look what happened today. Who would you want if Tam, again, there might be many managers out there I've never heard of. I don't know. I don't want a new manager. But while ever someone like Nuno is available, while ever a Jose Mourinho is available, not saying we'd get them, not saying anyone even wants them, but big names, decent resumes, 49ers, they'll be on their list. Them 2 will be on 49ers list, 100%. So I don't even want to go there. I won't lie. Do you think Okafor is a step up from Ramazani? Doesn't feel like it at the moment. We need to we need him to be though. Yeah, folks, I agree. I hope so. I think he's a tricky winger. He should be better than Ramazani for everything I've seen and read about him. And you look at where he's been and stuff, he should be better. but it doesn't mean he is. But yeah, we need him to be 100%. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Ellie, this is like the Farke hate club, lol. Nothing else being talked. But I'm just reading comments out, Ellie. I just get through comments. Yeah, so I don't hate Farke, but I think today got some stuff wrong. The Farke hate is wild, lads. There's a lot of Farke hate in the chat. I won't lie. Don't think it's Farke hate. Just think people want him to be more. Well, I do. I want him to be more brave at lineups. I want him to be more attack minded. Stop being so bothered about. I feel like he's coaching at the minute. He's managing with fear. I think a lot of decisions he's making is from a defensive mindset, and I want him to be a bit more forward thinking. But I don't think you're implying myself. I think I'm being quite balanced, to be honest. And obviously, I can only speak how I feel. But in the chat, there's a lot of people obviously saying they want a new manager and stuff like that. But obviously, when I'm on my own like this on a stream, I like to bring every comment up, give everyone opportunity to have their say, whether they agree or not. And I don't agree with sacking manager. I don't agree that he's crap and he can't do it at this level. I just think, even the great man over my shoulder there, Bielsa, made some wild decisions. Tyler Roberts getting played in 10 most weeks were wild. He used to pull my hair out. So, not every person who makes wrong decisions means he's a poor manager or a poor person. You can be decent, you can still do a job and still get some stuff not quite right. I think that's where Farke is at the minute. Can he turn it round? I hope so. Are the lads good enough? I hope so. But yeah, it is quite negative, I suppose, because we have just lost the game 1-0, in brutal circumstances. Get this quite a lot when you come on stream and say, I think I'm being fairly balanced, to be fair. I genuinely am. I don't think I'm being a dick or all like that. But I will read comments out, good or bad. But it is hard because I either don't come on and then, it's not a negative stream because there is no stream, or I come on after a loss in 96th minute or 95th minute and it's going to be negative because it was a negative result, and yeah, I like to come on here and be transparent, tell you my thoughts and have a chat with you and give everyone the chance to have sort of voice their opinion too. Hey, Richard, if Mourinho actually said he'd come to Leeds, then it's a no-brainer. He's Mourinho even taking a team down. Boards have slightly let Farke down. However, Farke has become very predictable. Yeah, I agree with the board let him down to a degree. He has become quite predictable. But like I say, the lack of quality up top is still choosing players with less quality. Aronson isn't as good as Nonto or James. He isn't. So it's one of them. But Mourinho, I don't think Mourinho would take a team down. I think Mourinho would guarantee survival for any team. Potentially, if Brentford aren't doing well or Wolves aren't doing well, and they were sat the manager and Mourinho coming, I would immediately look at them and go, well, that's someone probably now who's going to stay up, so it makes it tougher for us. But again, I don't really want to go down that route. Yeah. Last season's team would beat Fulham. Solomon, a fit James, no bother. It would have been 2-0. So a lot of people say our last season team were better than season. I don't agree with that. I don't. I do honestly think this season side's better than last season's. Don't know what you guys think of that. Get to 70 likes, I will give some memberships away. You've already done it, Christopher. Solomon was definitely a game changer. So this Leeds team after 100 million spent is worse than last season team. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, well, that's a worry, Richard, because have we got the right people on the bench to come on and change a game? I think we've got some decent players to see a game out. This is what I mean. If we can get that first goal, Richard, if we can score first, I think that's when a Brendan Aronson and a Harrison becomes, vital members of the squad. I think they can do a right job for us off the bench to see a game out. But are the game changers? I know they came on in the first game against Everton and we got the win with them on the field. I don't think over the course of the season that'd happen more than it being the other way, to be fair. But be interesting to see. I'm not liking some at chat at minute, so yeah, I'm gonna Mr. Red and Tommy K. Mr. Red, to be fair, I'm gonna have to kick you out if that carries on, mate. I don't like that kind of chatting here. It's I don't like it all, to be fair. I know I'm about 10, 12 minutes behind, so maybe it's either carried on or stopped. But yeah, no shit like that in chat, please. I don't have it on a regular basis. I never have all like that in here, so please, not tonight. Whether you're Leeds fans or not, I don't really give a shit. I don't want stuff like that in chat. Don't want to be reading that. I want to looking for comments in between that stuff. I don't want it, please. So just if you want to be like that, go elsewhere, please. David Gray, January is vital to getting creative players, but if we did, Farke will stick with his favourites. I think that's why he won't be the club come January. Well, I hope he is. I hope he is. Does a set piece coach offer any creativity to an attacking line, or is he a one-trick pony? I'd assume it's just set pieces, Andy. I'd assume it's just set pieces. But in terms of movement in box, maybe that helps with just normal attacks. Maybe he does help with that, with general movement. But I would assume it would just be set pieces. But I tell you what, we need him in sharpish, don't we? We need him to make an impression, because that's those small percentages we talk about that can be different to staying up. The same reasons you are saying, Matty, is the same stuff I've been saying for just over a year. My worst fears are becoming true. Thing is, Sean, it's not the be all and end all right now. It's not. 4 points in 4 games. It's not the worst thing ever. We've just lost to Fulham. Yeah, they're not world beaters, but it's still a decent side. It's away from home. A lot of people will say it's a game I didn't expect to win. I would argue and say, if you don't expect or think you can beat Fulham away, what away game are you winning? Which I think is a fair point. But it's not the end of the world. You know, we've got Wolves away next. That is a winnable game. If we lose that, then even the biggest believes they'll start worrying. But, you know, we've got Wolves away next and Bournemouth at home. Then we can get points out of us next few games. We can. So it's not the be all and end all. But there is stuff there to worry about. We've just been beaten today, so you can't be happy with that. If you're happy we got beat today, then are you even a supporter? Do you know? Being 0-3 for set piece goals so far this season is not what we are. Yeah, to be fair, so I think 2 of them were against Arsenal. I think so. Yeah, well, there will be more. The 2 against Arsenal, which happens to most. Ellie, it's been a rough day. Feelings running high. Patience theme. We go again. Thanks, Matty. Great discussion. Ellie, thank you very much. No problem. No problem. Hope you have a good Sunday. With our lack of goals, does Farke put on the life belt and throw Gray into the fray? Too risky, Michael. He's already said to press he don't want him even being mentioned really by the press, by the journos. So he's going to keep him out of the light, I think, this season. And if it's going to be quite a turbulent season, he's probably wise to do so. Keep him out of firing line. For the Wolves game, revert to a 4-2-3-1 or better, still a 3-5-2. See where that takes us for this one. I think maybe a formation change wouldn't be the end of the world now. I think a 4-2-3-1 would probably be easier because they know the role, but I think a 3-5-2, I think we've got players to play there. You could bring Biol in there, couldn't you, next to Strauch and Rodon. That would work and see how that goes. But yeah, we have, mate. We have. Catch promotion. Leeds are in bad shape. Farke is not the answer. Well, I hope he is. I hope he is the answer. We need him to be. Just want a more attack-minded approach. That's it, Michael. I'm not asking for world. I just want a more attack-minded approach. That's it. I don't want a new manager. I don't want wholesale changes. I just want the first thought is to try and go get the goal. Try and go get the goal. We're used to seeing Daniel Farke's Leeds United play attractive, front foot football, goals and chances galore. And I understand the step up, but we're making the step up even harder by we're competing all over the pitch, but not in the area that gets you points. You might get a point if you're hard to beat. You might get a point. You might do. But you got more chance of getting more points if you can put ball in back at net. So yeah, a more attack-minded approach. That's it. That's it in a nutshell, Michael. That's it. I'm not being a dick. I'm not being Farke out. I'm none of that. I just want a more attack-minded approach. And that's away from home too. I don't care it's away from home. Fulham and Wolves, go try and win the game. We've lost today. Wolves, You've got to try and get something from that game. And when I say get something, would you take a point? Maybe, but not a point not like today. I don't want to sit back and try and get a point and hope we click on for a 0-0. Go. We need to score from open play. We need another goal. This can't go on. This cannot go on. If that game ends 0-0, Stephen, and they're the fine margins. They're the fine margins. Everton at home, we win 1-0. If that stays 0-0 or they get the penalty, it goes the other way for first game of season 2. But when you say praising Farke, I wouldn't have been jumping through hoops with that performance. Great grit, great effort. The lads did well. But I would have still been saying similar what I'm saying now. Why weren't we going for the goal? Why weren't we trying to win the game? I don't like sitting back and inviting them on, whether that we're home or away. But 100%, we get a 0-0 there. It's a totally different feel in the fan base. Because Fulham away, most people would have took a point. So you are right in what you're saying. I think most people would, mate. Aisha, hope you're well. Going in on Farke for an own goal and poor attack. That's on the board. So negative today. I, for one, have to see the positives. Also calling Farke negative and asking for Nuno or Jose. Yeah, like I say, Nuno or Jose. If someone asked me who I'd have, Aisha, they'd be the two. But I've already said I don't want to talk about a new manager. I don't want Farke sacking. It's a negative result. The board, we can talk about the board as much as we want. It wasn't Parag who put Nonto on the bench and played Aronson. It wasn't Parag for me who he'll have signed off on it, but it isn't Parag the main reason why Ramazani's not at the club. There's a few things in there that are on Farke. His subs, that's not on Parag. It's a negative result, and there's negative parts. Farke hasn't had a great performance today. The boys did do a good performance. I don't think Farke got everything right today. I don't. But it's just one game. And we go again, don't we? But I've got to talk about this game because it's a review of that game, you know. What can I do? I can't talk about, a really great attacking performance. I can't talk about Farke's subs being great because none of that happened today. I can't talk about a win because that didn't happen today. But you know me, I am level-headed and I just say what's on my mind. But I think I say it in a balanced way. I think all sides can sort of get where I'm coming from. I'm never too much one way or another. I just think he needs to be more attack-minded in certain moments in games. I think sitting back for 0-0 against Fulham with half an hour to go, don't be surprised when you concede that goal because it will coming. If it wasn't for Darlow, we probably lose that game 2 or 3-0 before it gets to 90th minute. If that's Melee in goal, if that's Perry in goal with what we've seen for a few games, potentially, we lose that game 2-0 with what we've seen so far. So, yeah. Any other team but Leeds would have beaten Fulham today? I'm not sure. I don't know. All right, mate. Cheers, pal. Gaza, we definitely deserve. Yeah, of course we did. We deserved something from the game. Of course we did. We deserved a point. We didn't deserve more than a point. We deserved a point. We didn't do enough to win game. We did enough to get a point. I agree. And if it wasn't for a free cone goal, we'd have got a point, mate. So I can't disagree with you there, pal. We definitely didn't deserve more than a point, but neither did they. But these are margins, aren't they? It's either a bit of quality or something like that, and it's game over. But that's why I'd like us to put ourselves in a better position by getting a goal, and then if something like that happens, you still get something out of that game, don't you? I didn't know your manager was so hated. You know what it is? I don't know about hated. It just doesn't take much for. Maybe he is hated then. I just feel like it doesn't take much, does it, for a couple of bad results and people start sort of changing their mind on him. And I think it's hard because they're 2 really good seasons, but a lot of decisions in game, even when we've been doing well, he gets us promoted, Black Cats, and a day after we win title or clinch promotion, one of the two, it's all over press that Leeds are going to sack him and stuff. It's a madness. Even now, I don't know where we are in the table, but even now, we're still not bad. For a newly promoted team, we're not in a bad position. We're only 3 points behind you. We're not in a bad position. I think a lot of it is the patterns and trends you can see that people start predicting. Oh, well, I don't think he's going to get this right. And it starts sort of snowballing. But I don't hate him, obviously. I think I've stressed that enough today. But yeah. Jamie Loeb, we're too late in January. Unlucky today. We deserve a point. I've still no idea what Goodmanson is doing there. I get that. It's mad, isn't it? Cheers. Yeah, well, the mods, I have got some mods. Joe Blackburn, Sean Wilco Whites, and Danny, and not one of them's in tonight. So I'll have to have a look at that water. There he is. Danny's just come in now. It's coming. I can smell trouble. Definitely need mods, says Jamie. Okay, it's been going off on it. Sound, I think Sean's on top of it. Is what it is. Sound. Smash a like and subscribe, please. Cheers, Danny. We also struggled to score pre-season. We did, Richard. Yeah, we did. Jamie, moving on to Wolves, must win there below us to get 3 points. Yeah, I mean, some people will be happy with a draw. If it ends a draw and you play well, I ain't going to moan about it. I just feel I want them to set them up. I want to see us try and go win that game. And I think if we try and go, it picks the right side and we try to win that game, I think we do win that game. I think Wolves are a lot poorer than Fulham. I tip Wolves to go down. Wolves are my tip to go down. So that is a game we should be trying to win. I think Parag and the 49ers need to reassess the situation in January. Therefore, can't see us getting to January without getting loads of injuries. Yeah, they've had a few niggles already, haven't we, mate? They've already creeped him. I don't see us picking up points the next 2 games. He'd be sacked at this international break coming. I hope not. It's a big couple of games for him. I'm a big believer in trying to win a game first. Then, if it doesn't happen, last 10 minutes and you hold on for a draw, but don't set up to draw, as 9 out of 10 times you lose. That's where I'm at, Christopher, mate. That's where I'm at. A lot of people will set up for a draw, won't they, away from home? I'm not about that. I will be. I'll be saying on Late Night Leeds next week that we'll beat them. Like I'll say now, I think we'll beat Wolves. I think we'll beat them 1-0. I think we'll win 1-0 against Wolves. That's about it. I don't think we'll score more than that. But I think we can go to Wolves and win. Yeah, I almost thought 1-0 Leeds for today, but I changed my mind to 2-1 because I just thought we'd get that monkey off us back with a couple of goals. But I think we'll beat Wolves. I do. Even with Aronson on right, I still think we'll beat Wolves. I think if we play like we did today, we only need one of them to go in, and I think we've got enough because I don't think Wolves will score against us. I think defensively we're very, very good. Very, very good. Say we haven't kept a clean sheet, but when you look at the goal that went in, we sort of have as well. The stats will show that, but we've sort of kept, 3 clean sheets. That's just a free goal out today. And that sounds daft because it's not a clean sheet, but you know what I mean. We haven't been carved open. They haven't scored that goal. It's just it's our bloke and gone in. So we are really, really tough to score against, and that's great. That's a great foundation. But let's try to win it. Let's try to win it. 14th, 15th. It's not that he's hated. He's frustrating at times, like when he randomly starts Byron in big matches, etc., giving Joseph a chance. Ramazan and Tanaka could have come on for Aronson and impact. Yeah, I assume Tanaka maybe isn't fit after having that injury, or at that point he just didn't want to try and win the game, which also I believe as well. He could have brought Tanaka on, who was a more creative midfielder, and probably just wasn't bothered for going to win the game. But I do think there's something in it that he probably still injured. I wouldn't be happy with a draw at Wolves because we lost today. I presume he won't beat Bournemouth or Spurs. That's why I believe he must beat Wolves. Yeah, I think the Bournemouth and Spurs one, this is where people say, draw away from home and win away. Draw away, win at home. But I don't think Bournemouth and Spurs are winnable games. As in, but we ain't going to win both. I hope we do. Depending on what we do against Wolves, maybe I'll change your mind. I'll never back us to lose. The worst I'll back is a draw. But Bournemouth and Spurs, it looks a tricky double fixture, doesn't it? Both at home. Can we get 3? Can we win one of them? Can we be unbeaten and get a point out of both games? Can we get 4 points? It seems unlikely. So yeah, if we lose both away games and then we go at home back to back and we don't win them, it's a tough draw in it then, and all of a sudden those points, that point per game is sort of lacking. So it's a massive 3 games. It's a tough 3 games. It's a tough 3 games. I think Matteo got chances. He was absolutely poorly last year. He wasn't good, buddy. We lick our wounds from today and onwards to Wolves. We will beat Wolves 2-0, but I said that about today. I am upset that my fears on Farke are coming. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Still a long way to go yet, mate. It's a long way to go. Like I said, there's just certain stuff that's sort of annoying about him, but there's certain stuff that's really good about him. Like he won his fucking title last year. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of good as well. Yes, he was, but there were certain games he could have brought certain fringe players on and never did. I'm predicting and wanting a win against Wolves. They are bottom of the league, yeah. You know what's happening there then, don't you? I dread the Premier League. Shorts on finishing predictions. Leeds are in the bottom 3 from the neutrals. Yeah, I don't read too much into that because all I've got is the basis of we're newly promoted, so we've got to go. We're definitely going back down. But all I'm going to say is, right before I go, because I'm going to call it a day there, I'm going to go watch Match a Day and cry and watch it again. As painful as it is, I'm going to leave it there, right? 68 people in. Please smash a like on video, even if you didn't like it, because it was quite a negative stream. But what I'll say is on this channel, I don't want no shitting comments like I had earlier. I might have to add a few more mods if that's going to happen, because, yeah, I didn't see really what went on, but I've seen a few shit in that. I didn't like it. This is a negative-ish stream because it was a negative-ish game with a very negative result. Farke in, 49ers in. Confident we go beat Wolves, because guess what? We haven't played shit today. We've played well today. Just need to put out a side and put out a message for that side that it's okay to go win a game when it's away from home, because I just feel like he ain't doing that. And that's it. It's not masses need changing. The team will bang on by one player for me today. By one player. And it was a negative result, which sparks a negative stream. Do you know what I mean? It does. It's hard for me to come on here and be like, woohoo, because I'll be lying to myself, because I don't feel like woohoo. You know, I felt better this time last week, and I was 40 miles into my 42-mile walk at this time last week, and I felt better doing that than I do sitting here right now after a 1-0 loss. So you can only be positive when there's things to be positive about. I am looking forward to going to Wolves next week. I'll be going. I'm going to Wolves, me and Priestley, and I fully expect us to bounce back, because the thought of losing that game too don't even bear thinking about. And can you imagine the temperature in the fan base if we do lose that game? So we need to be positive. I'll get there. I'll scream louder than any fucker in that stand. Don't you worry. I'll do my bit. But right now I'm feeling a bit shitty. And I think, the boys played well. A couple of decisions from Farke I didn't agree with. But we go again. We're a family. We're a team. But yeah, if it's a little bit negative for your liking and you don't want to smash a like, that's absolutely fine. But if you don't mind it and understand, it's just part of the fucking thing, innit? I can only come in here and talk about what I've seen that day. See you, Big Jesse. We are Yorkshire. We are, mate. We are. But yeah, no, seriously, thanks so much for watching. I do enjoy these, me and chat just getting through it. Please smash a like and subscribe, please. Matty is one of the best out there at this, and good up and coming YouTubers want to be as good as they are. Cheers, Danny, mate. Thanks, pal. Yeah, cheers, buddy. Mr. Whitesnake, what a way to lose a game. Yes, mate, what a way indeed. Aisha, cheers, Matty. Hit the like on your way out, people. Yeah, thanks for watching, Aisha. Sorry if I've annoyed anyone with my negative takes, but take your boots with you in case we need the 3rd yard screamer. Yeah, Dave, and you're right. You messaged me earlier, didn't you? I've scored more goals from open play than Leeds United this season in my Creators Cup performance. But yeah, we'll go again. We'll go again. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. Today was a harsh lesson of if you don't take your chances, the opposition at this level will take theirs. I'll give over, man. Everybody, everyone just be yourself. No one's as better than anyone else or bigger than anyone else. Everyone's good at it their own way. Cheers, Matty. We'll stay up. I agree. And I hate coming in here and talking negative. I would love nothing more to be sitting in now with a boring 0-0 just going, get in. We've got a point. But that isn't the case. But we have to go again, don't we? But yeah, love yous. Thanks so much. Please smash a like. Please subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you. If I don't see you for a week, I'll see you for a window. Good night, everyone. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a great Sunday.